The iPhone 18 may be a year away, or perhaps longer for one model, but Apple's next devices are already taking shape. The iPhone 17 debut was a significant shakeup for Apple. Not only did the basic model finally get the Pro version's 120Hz screen, but we also got to see Apple's smallest handset to date, the iPhone Air. So, will the iPhone 18 family bring comparable dramatic changes, or should we expect more iterative change? Here's all we know so far about the iPhone 18. However, it is still early days, with handsets not expected until September 2026, and probably later for some of them. More on that later, but keep in mind that this page is a work in progress, and it will be updated as new rumors and leaks emerge in the following months. If you've been following iPhone rumors for years, you'll be accustomed to skimming this part. For nearly a decade, Apple has only announced numbered iPhones in September, with the exception of 2020, when the announcement was pushed back to October due to COVID supply chain concerns. Nonetheless, this tried and true recipe may be slightly altered in the iPhone 18. According to ET News, Apple intends to release the Pro models and iPhone Fold in September 2026, but will save the basic model for a spring 2027 launch alongside the iPhone 18e. Presumably, the goal is to persuade more consumers to choose the Pro models, but it's a risk given the continued popularity of the basic model. At this moment, it's unclear where the next iPhone Air model fits into all of this. Pricing is also entirely unpredictable. Despite concerns about tariffs' influence on cost, the base iPhone 17 remained at $799, while the Pro model only increased by $100 to start at $1,099, which was unusual considering that the iPhone 17 Pro Max remained at $1,199. It appears that the Pro model will remain unchanged, rather than Apple increasing prices on consecutive occasions. It remains to be seen whether the normal model will be able to keep its relatively cheap price with a delivery date in spring 2027. A lot can happen within that time. The iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max are expected to have the same fundamental proportions and styles as this year's models. However, there are three significant adjustments that will make the design feel new. The dynamic island is shrinking as Face ID components move under the display. This should provide the smallest display cutout in years. The iPhone 17 Pro's two-tone back design has proven divisive. To address this, Apple intends to better mix the colors of the aluminum and glass regions to create a uniform appearance. Given how the iPhone 17 family changed the appearance of the phones, we don't expect significant design changes for the smartphone's successors, but there will most certainly be modest upgrades. According to Digital Chat Station, the Pro models would have a transparent finish on the rear glass panel. Beyond that, we anticipate a similar appearance across the board. This includes the 6.3-inch iPhone 18 and 18 Pro, the 6.5-inch iPhone Air 2, and the 6.9-inch iPhone 18 Pro Max. However, there may be some noticeable modifications from the front. Earlier this year, leaker Digital Chat Station stated that the Smart Face ID technology needed for Face Unlock would be concealed beneath the screen, eliminating the need for a notch or dynamic island. The front-facing camera would be reduced to a single hole punch in the top left corner, according to the information. However, another Weibo leaker, Instant Digital, stated that Face ID will only get smaller, a slightly narrower pill, in the leaker's words. The iPhone 18 series is just a slightly narrower pill, the leaker explains. It does not have a single camera, and does not have underscreen Face ID or an underscreen camera, according to him. Digital Chat Station does not appear to have backed down from this, however, stating that new hole in active area technology is being tested on the front-facing camera, which might lead to a more compact design. There is no mention of Face ID this time, therefore, Dynamic Island's destiny is currently uncertain. Apple has employed 3 nanometer chips in its flagship smartphones since the release of the A17 chipset with the iPhone 15 Pro, but it appears that the company may transition to 2 nanometer chips with the iPhone 18A20. The advantages of a smaller chip are significant. A 2 nanometer device contains more transistors in a smaller space, increasing performance while decreasing power consumption, which can have a significant influence on battery life. Based on recent generational jumps, we may be looking at a processor that is 15% faster and 30% more efficient than the A19. It's worth noting that analyst Ming-Chi Kuo believes this would be reserved for Pro models to save money, but if it does get to standard models, it might mean a significant jump for Apple Intelligence, given the report specifies 12 gigs RAM within the CPUs. The iPhone 17 currently has a maximum storage capacity of 8 gigs. Another potential improvement could be the adoption of Apple's C2 modem. Only 2 phones now feature Apple-built modems, the iPhone 16e C1 and the iPhone Air C1X, and a wider rollout could result in improved efficiency and hence longer battery life. However, this is far from likely, as Qualcomm, Apple's current supplier, is obligated to offer iPhone modems until some point in 2027. So it appears that some members of the iPhone 18 family will miss out on the upgrade. It's simply a matter of which ones. Satellite internet. According to a story published this week by The Information, at least some future iPhone models set to appear next year may offer full 5G satellite internet. Apple plans to add support in upcoming iPhones as early as next year for 5G networks that aren't tethered to Earth's surface, which include satellites, according to the article. That would give the iPhone full internet access over satellite, according to the report. If the earliest 2026 deadline is realized, the iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max, and the long-rumored foldable iPhone will likely be the first models to enable full 5G satellite internet, followed by the ordinary iPhone 18 in March 2027. Even if support is enabled, no service presently exists that provides full 5G satellite internet directly to a smartphone. Apple's own satellite functionality on iPhone 14 models and later is confined to the emergency SOS feature, the Find My and Messages applications, and roadside assistance, while T-Mobile's Starlink service is also restricted to certain functions and apps. Both alternatives demand that you have a clear view of the sky. iPhones can already attain high-speed internet rates over a satellite connection when combined with a Starlink satellite dish, which establishes a Wi-Fi network. So, that's all we know for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching.